What's up guys, welcome to the channel. Today we're looking at the Broad River Tactical CAR 15 SD. This is their radial delayed blowback 9mm. We'll go over real quick what makes this thing special, and then we'll get down to business and do some shooting. I've always really wanted a integrally suppressed SD weapon, but if you've looked into them much, they're very expensive. Thinking H&K, MP5 SD, or any of the B&T SD firearms. Very expensive, and in the case of the MP5 SD, it can be very hard to come by. So I attempted to build my own AR9 SD type weapon here a while back, and if you guys will look back on my channel, there'll be a AR9 build there called the HiTec Suppressor AR9. That build started out initially and was supposed to be an SD with a Form 1 SD suppressor. The problem I ran into on that build was finding somebody to make the ported barrel. If you're not aware, an integrally suppressed or SD weapon has ports around the barrel right in front of the chamber, and I'll put up a picture of exactly what that looks like on this system. And the purpose of those ports is to bleed off excess pressure, allowing you to shoot cheap 115 grain 9mm ammo. And as that 115 grain passes those ports, excess pressure is bled out through those ports into the suppressor, since the suppressor sleeves over those ports. So since that gas is bleeding off, that's slowing the round down. So that allows you to shoot that cheap 115 grain range ammo, but still have the velocity lowered down to subsonic speeds. And the reason we want subsonic speeds when shooting suppressed, you don't get that supersonic crack of the bullet, which makes for a really quiet shooting experience. And at the time I was attempting my own build, subsonic 9mm ammo was very expensive and could be very hard to come by. So there was a whole lot of benefit to being able to shoot 115 grain cheap range ammunition. Now, not a whole lot has changed as far as prices of ammo. It's come down a little bit since then, but it's still quite a bit more expensive to buy subsonic ammo. So there's still a great value in being able to shoot cheap 115 grain ammo at the range and still be subsonic. So that's why these SD platforms are really awesome, really fun to play with, and a lot of people desire these types of weapons. So luckily I come across Broad River Tactical, and they make exactly what I was wanting to make back however many years ago. This is a AR9 platform, has the ported barrel. The back of the barrel's threaded to accept a MP5 SD type suppressor, and the system lowers the velocities down to subsonic when it comes to 115 grain and 124 grain ammo. And it's much more affordable than an MP5 SD or a B&T SD. And like I said, this is the radial delayed blowback 9mm upper. Broad River Tactical also offers a straight blowback barrel. So if you wanted to do your own AR9 build, you can buy a ported straight blowback 9mm barrel and incorporate it into whatever build you're putting together. Another thing that makes the Broad River Tactical gun unique is the MP5 SD style handguard. Now, Broad River Tactical makes this handguard, and they have this sleeve that works with this handguard that also works on a real MP5 SD. So you get that MP5 SD look and feel on a modern AR9 type firearm. Alright, real quick, I'll go over how I've got this build set up, and then we'll do some shooting. Starting off, I'm running just a SBR lower off of one of my other builds. Took the upper off, slapped this upper on, so that's that. Running a Magpul CTR stock, a standard carbine buffer with a H weight buffer. It does have an aftermarket trigger, though I can't think of the name at the moment. I'll post the name of this trigger on the screen. Any type of AR-15 trigger will work just fine with this build. So moving on to the important bits, the upper. Now I got the complete upper from Broad River Tactical. As you can see, it's a standard 7075 mil spec upper receiver. It comes with this receiver, the barrel, the handguard, and this MP5 style handguard wrap. The barrel is the radial delayed blowback barrel, and it works with a CMMG radial delayed bolt carrier group, which I have here. Now, you do have to purchase the CMMG bolt carrier group on your own, but those are pretty easy to come by. The fit and finish is really good on the upper receiver. Everything's lined up really nice. Everything's really solid. The action is really smooth. So you can tell it's a quality upper receiver. If anybody's interested, I doubt you can see it, but it has the keyhole forging mark on the upper receiver. The suppressor that I'm running with this build is from HiTec Arms. They did send this suppressor out to me. I really appreciate it. It works with any MP5 SD or BNT SD or anything threaded 18x1, which is the MP5 SD threading. This is a 12-inch suppressor, has 6 baffles in it, and I'll have a separate video on the suppressor alone coming up next. Broad River Tactical did send out the upper receiver. I reached out to them after becoming aware of it, and he was nice enough to send the upper receiver out and put me in touch with HiTec Arms for the suppressor, so I really appreciate him for that. Now in this system, I'm running a Mean Arms Endo Mag. These Endo Mags work really well with AR9 upper receivers. The optic I'm running on this upper is the Siley Bear. This optic was sent out for me to test out, and that's what I've been doing with it. So seems to be a pretty good red dot so far. It is a budget option, not a rely on your life upon it situation, but it's performed real well for me so far. Run a Surefire X300 Ultra weapon light. I like to run a weapon light on all my builds. You can't hit what you can't see. I fully believe in running a weapon light on your gun. And I just recently added some Magpul MBus 3 backup sights. As you can see, I'm running the front in a backwards position to sit between the switches on the X300, and it gives me a little more distance on my iron sights. Alright guys, that's pretty much everything on this build. Let's do some shooting. I'm sure that's the most important thing everybody's tuned in for. They want to hear it shoot, see how it functions. So let's get on to that part. The ammo I'm going to be running is AAC 115 grain full metal jacket. Really affordable quality ammo. If you guys are interested in picking it up, there'll be a link in the description to my campsite page, and there's a link to AAC ammo on my campsite page, which is Palmetto State Armory. If you guys use my link, it helps out the channel. I get a small, tiny little kickback from it. It doesn't cost you any extra to use, but it does help out the channel, and I greatly appreciate it when you guys use my links. It really helps out a lot. Alright, before we lose any more daylight, let's get to shooting. I'm going to put the first few shots into the dirt so we can hear, make sure it doesn't go supersonic, and get the full sound of the shot. Alright, definitely no supersonic pop. And I'm going to take a shot real quick, see where my brass is landing. Alright, let's put some shots on steel. Hey, I'm getting just a little bit of gas back from the action, but I did just thoroughly oil this action, so it may be some of that oil vaporizing. So let's hope it dissipates a little bit. That radial delayed action makes this weapon super smooth, very controllable, easy to shoot. If you guys have shot a straight blowback AR9 millimeter, you know they can be a bit harsh. They recoil really sharp, much harder than a 223 AR. That HiTec Arms suppressor sounds really nice. HiTec Arms does offer this suppressor in a 9-inch version as well as this 12-inch version. Now if you want a little more compactness and you're not so worried about the sound, the 9-inch version's the way to go. But if you want the ultimate in quietness, obviously you want the 12-inch. These suppressors are not overly expensive. I've also dealt with the people at HiTec Arms, really great, down-to-earth people. Really easy to work with, really easy to deal with. Highly recommend, if you're looking at this system, to go with the HiTec Arms suppressor. Or if you got an MP5 SD you need a suppressor for, or a B&T SD and you need a suppressor for it, this HiTec Arms suppressor will work with those platforms as well. Alright, let's load up another mag real quick and continue having fun. Whew. Alright guys, that's the Broad River Tactical BRT 15 SD, radial delayed, blowback 9mm, super smooth shooter, really easy to keep the sights on the target. The suppressor sounds really good. It's pretty cool you're able to shoot that 115 grain ammo and still remain subsonic. This is going to be a gun I shoot a lot, since I can shoot that cheap 115 grain ammo, which I have tons of stored up. If you'd like to pick one of these up for yourself, head over to Broad River Tactical. There'll also be a link in the description of my campsite page, and I'll have a link to Broad River Tactical on my campsite page. This is the most affordable way I know of to get into an SD integrally suppressed firearm, and it is very high quality, very nicely made weapon by a very cool company. Let's support them, check them out. Also, be sure to check out HiTec Arms. You're going to need a SD suppressor to go with that Broad River Tactical upper that you pick up. Broad River Tactical and myself recommends HiTec Arms SD suppressors. Really cool cans. Be sure to subscribe. Make sure you got the notifications marked. I'll have a video out that goes over this suppressor in detail, so be sure to check that out. Guys, be sure to use the link to my campsite page in the description. I got a lot of great deals on my campsite page, a lot of discount codes for you guys to use. Don't pass up that opportunity, and it helps out the channel. I greatly appreciate it. Be sure to hit that like button, be sure you're subscribed, and be sure to catch us on the next video. Thanks for watching.